Every single night, your brain creates a private masterpiece, a full-on movie with bizarre plots and real emotions. But then you wake up, and nothing. The theater's empty, the film is gone. Well, tonight, we're putting on our detective hats. We're going to crack the case of the disappearing dream. You know the feeling, right? It happens to all of us. You were just flying or saving the world or having a conversation with a talking squirrel, and then, poof, it just evaporates. That ghost of a memory is the exact mystery we're diving into. Okay, so first things first. It turns out the world is pretty much split into two groups when it comes to dreams. You've got your high recallers. These are the people who remember their nightly adventures multiple times a week. And then you have the low recallers, who might remember a dream maybe once or twice a month if they're lucky. So what's the deal? What really separates them? That's our mission for the next few minutes. We're going to follow a trail of clues, from the physical wiring in your head to the chemicals floating around in there, to figure out exactly why some dreams stick and why most of them just vanish into thin air. So let's start our investigation with clue number 1, the brain's actual architecture. It seems like some of us might just be hardwired to remember. Now you'd think, okay, this has got to be about the brain's famous memory hubs, right? Like the hippocampus. But here's the twist. For remembering dreams, that's not really the main character in our story. The real clue is tucked away somewhere else entirely. And that somewhere else is a spot called the medial prefrontal cortex, or MPFC for short. Studies found that our high recallers, the ones who remember everything, have more dense white matter right here. You can think of the MPFC as your brain's own personal scriptwriter. It's what comes up with the plot of your dream. And get this, the connection is so strong that if this area gets damaged, people can stop dreaming, or at least stop reporting dreams completely. So the physical wiring definitely plays a part. But our brains are also this incredibly complex chemical soup. And that brings us right to our next clue. It's not just the hardware, it's also the software. All right, clue number 2. We're leaving the wiring behind and following the chemical trail. We're looking for the specific fuel that powers our wild nightly adventures. And it looks like that fuel is a very famous chemical you've probably heard of, dopamine. Yeah, you know it as the thing that drives motivation and makes you feel good, but it turns out its job description goes way beyond the 9 to 5. It works the night shift too. I love how researcher Mark Solms put it. He suggested that dopamine is what fuels the hallucinatory wish fulfillment dream content. Basically, in plain English, dopamine is the engine that drives the bizarre, fantastic, and sometimes wishful stories our minds cook up while we're asleep. And this is where it gets really cool. The little bursts of dopamine that happen while you're dreaming are almost identical to the bursts that happen when you're awake and something surprising or really important happens. It's like your sleeping brain is tagging certain moments and saying, hey, pay attention to this. Okay, so we have the brain's scriptwriter and the chemical fuel. Our third and final clue connects both of these things to a very specific time of night. You know, the prime time when the real magic happens. And that prime time is, you guessed it, REM sleep. Sure, we can dream in other stages of sleep, but REM is the main event. It's where our dreams get vivid, emotional, and actually feel like a story. You know, the kind you might actually remember in the morning. So the big question is, how much REM sleep are you getting? A really fascinating study found there's a kind of magic number. People who spent more than 25% of their night in REM sleep were way more likely to have vivid dreams. Just look at this chart. It shows you how big of a deal this is. See that bar on the right? That's the group getting over 25% REM sleep. They were more than twice as likely to report a vivid dream. It's pretty simple, really. More time in REM just gives your brain more opportunities to create a blockbuster worth remembering. So yeah, that's the bottom line here. The more time you spend in that peak dreaming state, the better your chances are of waking up with a story to tell. So we've got the clues for how we dream and remember, but that leaves us with the biggest question in any investigation. What's the motive? Why does our brain even bother going to all of this trouble every single night? Well, scientists think of dreaming as the brain's essential night shift. It's doing critical work like processing difficult emotions in a safe space, organizing the day's events into long-term memories, and even running what they call threat simulations, basically rehearsing how you'd react to danger without any real risk. But what's absolutely incredible is how your brain pulls this off. During REM sleep, it actually shuts down the production of noradrenaline, which is a major anxiety-triggering chemical. This creates this amazing calm state where your brain can work through stressful memories without the stress. It's basically free therapy every single night. All right, detectives, the investigation is pretty much over. It's time to put all the clues together on the board and officially close the case on why some of us remember our dreams and others not so much. So, on the biological side of things, a high recaller seems to have a specific profile. They've got that denser white matter in the brain's storytelling department, a lively dopamine system cooking up the plot, and they spend a solid chunk of their night over that 25% mark in REM sleep. It's the combination of the right wiring, the right fuel, and enough showtime. But listen, it's not all just biology. Your mindset plays a huge role too. It turns out that people who are just more interested in their dreams, who maybe daydream a little more, and who wake up gently without a blaring alarm, they're way more likely to catch that fragile memory before it disappears. And here's the best part. You can actually train yourself to get better at this. Seriously, it can be as simple as telling yourself, tonight I'm going to remember my dreams before you fall asleep. Then, when you wake up, just stay still for a minute. Don't move, and whatever you do, don't grab your phone. Just try to hold on to any feeling or image that's left over. And so, the case is closed. We know the what, the how, and the why. But it leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. If our dreams really are the brain's nightly rehearsal, a place to process our lives and practice for the future, what huge performance are we all preparing for? That's something to sleep on.